I'm afraid to quote anything from this episode. It's time for Must Have Seen TV, the podcast dedicated to the sitcoms of the 20th century. From I Love Lucy to News Radio, I am your TV guy, Brett White. And I am also a drag queen known as Barb Hardley when I have more time to prepare. And say hello to the PRE to my ZENT, Ethan K. Hello, Ethan.
Hello, Brett. How are you doing?
Oh boy. Oh, I'm doing great.
Greats to hear.
On the Barb front, I will always plug that I did my third show. Is this now 2 episodes in a row where I've been like, I just performed? Hopefully this is a new trend.
I'm excited for you. The fact that you're doing more shows you're doing shows all over the country.
Yeah.
Not just in Manhattan or Queens.
Queens, Tennessee, Queens. But I did so I essentially wore you can go back and watch what was the last Wings. I wore what I wore in the Wings episode, the Gold Diggers, gold sequin like bustier thing. And I did a Get Smart-esque number. I used some Get Smart Nick at Night clips, and it was to Nancy Sinatra's Last of the Secret Agents. And then went into a mashup of that song with Doja Cat's Boss Bitch. So
we should totally do Get Smart, because I have not seen that show since I was a very young sprout.
I think we've only done the first episode on this podcast, and that was probably 3 years ago. And the first episode is in black and white, so you're not even getting, because Get Smart, I feel like, is a show that's famously in color. Like, it's so 1966 color that to do with the black and white episode was like, oh well, okay.
Well, all that great spy-fi works so much better in color.
Yeah.
All that great stuff in the 60s and the 70s, all that great spy stuff.
So yeah, it was fun to get to go out, perform, take a lift, to a venue. So everyone can check out Barb Hardley's social, Barb Hardley's YouTube, because the video of the performance is there. How's it going?
Things are good. We're about to take a little trip, but we just got back.
Take a little trip with Mickey, right?
Yeah, we're going to Disney. But we 2 weeks ago for Megan's birthday, we did go to Chicago, one of my favorite towns, one of my favorite cities. And we hit
it's that Toddlin town, right?
Toddlin town.
What that? Yeah, we don't need to unpack.
You'll have the time of your life. I saw a man. He danced with his wife in Chicago, of all places. We went to the Adler Planetarium, which is fantastic. Didn't know what to expect. The only planetariums I've really been to have been with science centers, where it's kind of like a little minor thing, or my junior high had a planetarium and we used it once or twice.
Oh, wow.
But Adler Planetarium is fantastic, amazing shows. We did the Field Museum, where it saw Sue the Tyrannosaurus. We went to the Art Institute, which I love art museums. We had so much fun. And they're right now they're having their Impressionist exhibit, and I don't really care for the Impressionists.
Hey, leave Rich Little alone. But
still alive. As of this recording date, Rich Little is still alive. But they had a presentation on 4 or 5 Impressionists that all knew each other and were kind of friends and kind of rivals. So it showed that sometimes they would just get together and paint the same thing and paint it from like a different day. So you'd see Van Gogh's version, you'll see someone else's version.
That's fun.
It was pretty neat. And we also hit up, what was the last one? The Shed Aquarium. So had a great time there. Love Chicago. Can't wait to go back.
Well, that brings me to what I've been watching recently.
Ooh.
Which is the Bob Newhart show. So that's no, because Bob's birthday was the 5th of September. He's 94. There's a really beautiful video on his Facebook page that they shared that's like just 20 minutes of celebrities saying happy birthday to him. I mean, I'm talking Ben Stiller, Jimmy Kimmel, Julia Duffy, Lisa Kudrow, Conan O'Brien. Like,
Yeah.
it's like crazy. But then, like, watching it after a while, it starts to feel very like, oh yeah, yeah, they all think he's dying soon. Is where my depressive
Yeah.
mind goes.
Well,
But also, this is his first birthday without his wife because his wife passed away fairly recently.
was he on the
Ooh.
video himself?
No, no, it was
Oh,
just it was like a gift. Here's
yeah.
happy birthday. So I don't know. So like because of that, I was like, well, I need to just watch. So I've watched a couple more episodes this week, which just yeah reminds me why I love that show and him enough that I have named my entire alter ego after him. uh yeah.
Well, I I can't. I have nothing to say to that other than I've never seen a Bob Newhart show. I don't believe I've seen him perform in anything other than a guest role. It was one of those shows or
But yeah,
multiple shows that wasn't on when I was growing up and watching television regularly.
man, Nick at Night. That's where Nick at Night had Bob Newhart, and then when I was in college, TV Land played Bob Newhart show, and I think Mary Tyler Moore at like 10 a.m. And so I used to watch it. I mean, I kind of would plan college courses around like, can I be at home to just watch the Bob Newhart show before I go to school? And what I connect with it and what that really reminds me of is that like so much of the Bob Newhart show is what I thought adulthood would be. And like a lot of my ideas of adulthood and manhood all come from the Bob Newhart show and Bob Newhart. And so it always feels really soothing, but the older I get, way more bittersweet.
Well,
Because it's like, yeah, man, that version of adulthood don't exist anymore. I will never.
that is a time gone by.
It's like I know I am currently sitting in a den of immaturity, but I would like to have a nice adult apartment with adult with adult decor, and I wear a suit every day to work, and I would like, to own land. No, yeah, but I feel like I'm, we're all perpetually doomed to always be in positions of low status.
Well, as someone who owns very little land here in Westchester County, I can say that lawns are a pain in the ass and everything costs money.
Mm-hmm.
We're thinking we're kind of like playing with the idea, what if we just take a lot of wildflower seeds and just chuck them everywhere? And then that turns into the lawn and we don't have to take care of it. And it becomes a home for insects and animals and bees.
That sounds terrifying to me. Jesus Christ. I don't want all those neighbors.
Well, we've had a deer for a little while. We call him our son, our gangly teenage son who lives outside and keeps weird hours. He just likes to hang out just under a bush where it's warm during the hot days, and he comes and goes as he pleases. We haven't seen him in days.
Like Groot in Infinity War. That's
like Groot in Infinity War. That's the perfect example. I'm glad that
he's a gangly teenage son. Yeah. So what have you been enjoying or watching?
Nothing that's been as impactful or momentous or significant as Bob Newhart.
I mean, I'm just wild over here.
But we've been watching Monty Python.
Oh.
It started while we were in Chicago and we talked about it, and it was Megan threw out a quote and I was just kind of like, what's that from? And she's like, Monty Python, don't you know? And I had to admit, I'd only seen maybe the first 7 episodes of Monty Python. So
I've seen 0, so
it's all on Netflix, unexpurgated, beloved, and we watched the first season and absolutely thought the world of it. So we're continually watching it. But the one that everyone needs to see is not Monty Python, it's One Piece. See One Piece, it's on Netflix. I had such a great reaction to it, absolutely loved it. I want them to make a second, third, fourth season, fifth season. Keep it going. It is great.
Oh yeah. It's like Netflix. It'll get 3 seasons over the course of the next 6 years.
Unless your name is Stranger Things, and then we'll just keep adding seasons
over the course of an even longer amount of time.
Yeah,
They're like, can we take 2 years between seasons? Yeah, sure. Nuts. And Netflix, I mean, I just watched The Ultimatum, Marry or Move On season 2.
Ugh.
So that's, that's what I do.
The whole season?
Well, yeah, I have to, because
it's your job.
My job. That and Big Brother. Jesus Christ.
Big Brother is huge in Britain, okay?
It's Big Brother, it's big. It has a devoted following in America. I've never watched Big Brother before. This is the first year that I'm watching it. And it is maybe the cringiest TV show that I have ever seen in my life. This year, there's an entire conceit about the BB multiverse, because they're doing like a multiverse thing, as if that isn't played out and also old. And all of the like missions and challenges come from the BB comic verse or the BB scary verse or and then they all have to like, man, it's just like a really lame LARP where no one really wants to. Everyone's here like, we're here to scheme and try to win money. And the show is like making them pretend like, well, I just got sent to the nether realm. Like, you did not. You had to go into a room. Like, it's like, don't make these poor people also have to play along with your 3rd grade LARPing. And it's wild. But that's my life.
How do we transition from that into the episode that we watched?
Because since all the Big Brother contestants are under camera 24 hours a day, the cameras keep catching cast members saying slurs. So, Life with Luigi.
Luigi.
We're traveling to September 22nd, 1952. Monkey Business rolled the box office. I Went to Your Wedding by Patty Page topped the charts, and CBS aired the Life with Luigi episode Citizenship. Ethan, you must have seen Citizenship before today.
Before you mentioned this week, I had never heard of Life with Luigi, the radio show or the television show.
Yeah.
But there's a reason that we chose this episode.
Yeah, I don't.
It's not just like we dug up the most offensive thing from September 22nd, 1952 that we could find.
I mean, and also, who knows if this was it either, also. I mean, there's a lot of competition. No, so what I want to do for this next round, because we have done a lot of more esoteric and short run sitcoms recently because they're fascinating. But I wanted to do let's do the heavy hitters. I'm going to crunch the numbers and figure out what is the most popular sitcom of the decade. And what I was surprised to learn in the 1950s, it's I Love Lucy, obviously, but we just did I Love Lucy. And so, first of all, let me preface with most comedy, it seems, in the 1950s was variety shows and comedy shows and cigarette companies presenting things to people. So there weren't that many sitcoms, and Father Knows Best and Make Room for Daddy didn't start until later on in the decade, so they haven't really gotten the foothold yet. Life with Luigi's one season did
13 episods.
Yeah, spread out essentially
a second season, kinda
a hard reboot. A hard
for noble reasons.
Yeah. So, but I mean, just to jump ahead, it was the 13th highest rated show of the TV season. I believe it was the 2nd highest rated sitcom, and 1 in 3 TV sets were tuned into this show.
Yeah, this had a
6.5 million. Yeah, out of the 17 million TVs that were active. So and also that's because I Love Lucy was its lead-in, but also because Life with Luigi had a radio pedigree. People knew it. It was pre-existing IP.
And it's pre-existing IP from a known hit maker. I know that you always go into the names of the people who made this, but the name of the most important person to remember is Cy Howard. Cy Howard knocked it out of the damn park with his radio show, My Friend Irma. My
Oh,
Friend Irma,
okay.
I put a little map together of how
Oh my
this works.
God.
My Friend Irma has a radio show, 1947, and it's a story of a dumb blonde and her smart roommate, and they live in a boarding house where there's some kooky people, and she has her job working for a law office. It's a hit. Not only is it a hit, it expands to other media. A comic strip, a comic book written by Stan Lee and
What the fuck?
drawn by Dan DeCarlo from
That-
Archie fame. Irma's huge. So Cy Howard, hitmaker. He in 1948, a year after my friend Irma airs on radio, comes up with Life with Luigi. Now, we've been dancing around the plot of Life with Luigi, but it is an Italian immigrant played by an Irishman. He's Irish, he's not Italian. Comes to America and has funny misunderstandings and life with the immigrant experience, which is also a huge hit. Understandably, you can imagine that it has a built-in audience. Anyone who is an immigrant in the last, 30 years is going to be interested in this show. So it's huge. 1948, Life with Luigi comes on. My Friend Irma hits TV January 1952. Not as big a hit.
Is that with Marie Wilson as Irma?
Yes, Marie Wilson.
Okay, so I need to show you. I just looked this up, and Ethan, I feel like I have a drag look that I have got to do. I just sent it. And
she was a gorgeous blonde. She could do the publicity. She could do the TV show.
She looks amazing. She has like a huge hat and matching opera gloves that are like pinstriped, like almost surrealist, and then she's essentially wearing what looks like almost, it's probably a satin, but it looks almost like a liquid metal like bustier, and then a huge flower in her hair. Like, it's like, this is amazing. Let's just do My Friend Irma. Stop recording.
We can do My Friend Irma because the show lasted 32 episodes, 39 episodes. So the weird cross-pollination begins to happen. The My Friend Irma radio show stars male cast members Alan Reed and Hans Conried. We know Alan Reed because he's Fred Flintstone.
Oh, yeah.
And we know Hans Conried because he's Captain Hook.
Oh, God.
So Hans Conried does double duty, starts doing the German voice for Life with Luigi. So he's on huge hit.
Wait, is he Schultz?
Yes, he's Schultz.
Oh, man, he's great.
He plays Schultz. But there's weirdness. So when Life with Luigi gets the inevitable TV series, Alan Reed from the My Friend Irma radio show comes in and becomes Pasquale, the scheming landlord, and Hans Conried, who's been playing Schultz, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So we've got Alan Reed, again, heavy hitter, big. He is a big name. He did 38 episodes of Duffy's Tavern. He was in Breakfast at Tiffany's. He was Dum Dum in Touche Turtle and Dum Dum. So you've got Alan Reed, and you've also got Mary Shipp, who we saw in this episode. I know this is crazy guy with the with the pegboard. Mary Shipp is playing the night school teacher in I Love Luigi. Mm-hmm. When I Love Luigi is canceled,
or Life with Luigi.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Mary Shipp moves over to My Friend Irma. She becomes the new roommate for My Friend Irma. I know this sounds so weird.
Well, he's like Aaron Sorkin or whatever. And he's like, I like 12 actors.
Yeah. So these actors get reshuffled, and My Friend Irma then gets canceled because it does not survive very well in live action TV, but it becomes a series of two movies, My Friend Irma and My Friend Irma Goes West.
Whoa, Jesus Christ. In my head, I joked. I said in my head, and Irma Goes West, and then you said it for real.
Well, maybe you've heard of it because My Friend Irma was the movie debut of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Oh my God.
So it's just absolutely fucking wild. Cy Howard also ended up writing 52 episodes of the Smothers Brothers before passing away.
Oh, good for him. Yeah, he died in like early 70s. I think I came across his a bit.
So it's this weird network of everybody's in everybody's shows. Hans Conried is in both of them, but doesn't want to do TV. Suddenly there's Martin and Lewis, and they're just jumping ship and shows are. But anyway, Life with Luigi is kind of this weird nexus point for Fred Flintstone,
Captain Hook, Martin and Lewis. So I also found out something about one of the other co-writers, Mac Benoff. I wish I should have looked into this more, but he was called in. Someone was accused of being a communist, and I found articles that like Mac Benoff was brought in to testify in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee. So that was fun. And it was like Life with Luigi writer Mac Benoff. And this is like months after it's been canceled. So
if you haven't gotten the idea yet, listeners and viewers, Life with Luigi is extremely offensive.
Yeah. So let's get into it because there's a lot. Sort of. This week on Must Have Seen TV, we're talking about Life with Luigi episode Citizenship. It is the first episode of season 1. It was written by Matt Benoff of the HUAC committee, Lou Derman and Cy Howard, discoverer of Jerry Lewis, and directed by
Lou Derman wrote 129 episodes of Mr. Ed.
Work, Lou. Thank you so much. I love that show. Directed by Norman Tokar. Here's how IMDb describes the episode. As Luigi prepares to take his U.S. citizenship test, he is unaware that Pasquale is plotting to sabotage his chances when Luigi refuses to marry his fat daughter. Ethan, how accurate is that description?
It's accurate. It makes me just boil.
When I read that description before watching the episode, I was like, oh, we chose the right one. This is going to be wild.
Now, these episodes are not available on DVD as far as I can tell. They're not on Daily Motion. There are 3 episodes that are on YouTube. Citizenship is the first episode of this season. It lasted another 13 episodes. While the radio show lasted at least 171. But this only lasted 13 episodes.
Yep. And so let's get it. So I don't know, I found all these newspaper articles. And so as we mentioned, the premise of Life with Luigi, I mean, this episode starts with like the first words are like, Mamma Mia, like,
I know,
because I guess maybe every episode is framed around him writing a letter back to his mother back in Italy. This Irish actor, the
Irish actor is J. Carroll Naish, by the way, who was famous in Hollywood for playing any other race aside from Irish. He only played Irish once in Rio Bravo with John Wayne.
But I did find out that his family owns a 300-year-old castle in Ireland. So like the roots run deep, but he doesn't want anything to do with them on camera.
Well, he wasn't because he had dark hair. He wasn't hired to play Irish roles. So he ended up playing Native Americans, African Americans, Italians especially. That's a big one. Indians from India. Like, it's not a good look.
Jeez. So before anyone out there starts decrying like woke culture run amok, let's look at this newspaper article from December 29th, 1952, from the Akron Beacon Journal in Ohio. written by Art Cullison. Headline: Italians and others call the program objectionable. Once quickly around the radio TV beat, Life with Luigi, despite its high ratings, helped along by the fact that it follows I Love Lucy, may be fading from television soon. There have been too many complaints from viewers, and not all of them Italians, that the show is objectionable. It does tend to perpetuate the Italian stereotype and put such immigrants in a bad light. There haven't been so many protests about the radio character, also portrayed by J. Carrol Naish for some reason or another. I'm going to editorialize and say, maybe because, like, what you see in Life with Luigi is probably way worse than what you imagine when you just listen to it, because you're seeing him. Okay, anyway, the TV sponsor is known to be considering Red Buttons a promising young comedian. Wow, promising young comedian for the 9:30 p.m. Monday time slot. Buttons' Tuesday night show ended its brief run last week. So yeah, so like people were calling it. Now, I do want to point out that J. Carrol Naish had his own take on on what was happening. Let me find this because it is very delusional. Okay. Jesus Christ. I will edit this part out.
Well, I can chime in with a little bit more background. Yeah. He was in the Merchant Marines, and in the Merchant Marines, he learned 8 different languages and dialects. So that's where he kind of got this, I can do any voice, I can play any character. He was nominated for 2 Academy Awards.
Oh, God.
For Sahara with Humphrey Bogart and a medal for Benny, which I don't know. He did not win either time, but some of his greatest hits, Annie Get Your Gun, where he played Chief Sitting Bull. Sahara with Humphrey Bogart, where he played Giuseppe.
Mm-hmm.
The New Adventures of Charlie Chan, where he played Charlie Chan.
Oh God, that's a big deal. I mean, that
and he, for fans of goofy nerd shit, he was Dr. Daka in the Batman serial 1943.
Wow.
But so yeah, like this is this is radioactive. It is
yeah. So Life with Luigi is airing, you know, we get to the halfway point, and then that article comes out in December of 52 saying a lot of people are saying this ain't good, and the sponsors are spooked. So this is from February 1953 it's already been canceled, and they don't know what they're doing. So CBS wants J. Carrol Naish to resume Life with Luigi on TV, but he has refused. He wants a TV show which will not limit his scope to one character. Carrol says that since he's a known violently anti-commie, real commies using Italian names have written in to protest his playing Luigi. But as a matter of record, he's been honored by many outstanding legitimate Italian organizations in this country.
Wow, you just shocked the hell out of me with that.
He thinks he's lying.
Yeah, I'm getting tons of fan mail. No, you can't see it.
Communists are writing in. It's all communists. So we'll get to what the solution was later. This episode starts with Luigi in his antique shop. I do like there is no setup.
No,
they fully are treating you like this is phase 3 of the Luigi cinematic universe. You should already done your homework.
You know all these people, you know who they do, you know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. We're right there. He's writing a letter to his mama, Mamma Mia. And that was the framing device on the radio show, is that he starts off with Mamma Mia, this great thing happened to me, and he ends it weirdly with, he calls himself, and goodbye, you're a little immigrant.
Yikes.
Yikes indeed.
Do we say Mamma Mia
talking about this stuff?
Do we say Mamma Mia because of this?
I don't know.
Man, that would be wild if this, I'm not going to look this up at all, but I'm saying wild if true. So he's talking about citizenship. he's like super excited because he's going to be taking the test. Is it Pasquale, who is his landlord, and I'm assuming an Italian American, right? Because he runs an
Yes,
Italian
Pasquale.
restaurant. Yeah. Is he played by an Italian?
Hold on, I need to take a break real quick.
Ooh.
I'll be right back. I just need to blow out a candle.
Oh no. Oh no.
Sorry, I hate to make you edit. All right, sorry about that.
I'm just going to assume that Pascal was played by an Italian American. We're just not.
No, Pascal
of course.
was not played by Italian. He was played by Fred Flintstone.
Oh, who's a caveman American?
Alan Reed, who, yeah, he. By the end of his life, he was doing a lot of cartoon voices.
So yeah, so like this is where Pascal's like, hey, you don't have to take a test. You could just marry my daughter, which is a big ask. And that's when Luigi's presented as, of course, understandable and logical responses. No, she's fat.
She's fat. She's played by, and I know I'm just throwing the trivia at you. She's played by Jodie Gilbert, who was an actor through the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s, who was big, whatever. Mm-hmm. But
she was tall too. Like she was as tall as Pascal.
Like, yeah. and she was like known as a comedian.
Good.
Like she was in, I think, The Bank Dick with W.C. Fields, and she played opposite Shemp Howard in one of my favorite movies, Hell's a Poppin'.
Ah.
So she was like a known comedic quantity throughout Hollywood throughout like
maybe that's time. Why there was a reaction when she shows up at the end. Like people recognized her probably. I mean, this is 1952, so
she went uncredited for a lot of stuff.
Oh, boo.
Which does kind of suck.
So he's an antiques dealer, and then this woman walks in. Well, he's like holding this bust of Washington, and he's like, first, no, man, shouldn't do that. It's really flirting.
We'll just use our transatlantic accents.
yeah, but he's like, this is the first president. I mean, just imagine that I'm like Mario saying all this. He's the first president 1789 or something. I don't know. And then this woman comes in and is like, I want that bust, and Pasquale like sells it to her, saying like really hyping it up, saying that like this was given to him after the battle of blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's the situation is that Luigi's very excited about, he's going to take a citizenship test, he's going to be an American like his hero George Washington. He's got this bust, and this woman suddenly just wants to buy it, and he's like, no, I can't sell this bust. And Pascal is like, no, you're a shop, you sell things. So he got $50 for it,
which is has to
$576 in American current American dollars.
And in current New York City rent, that'll cover a fifth of it for that month. Yeah. But this is all like part of Pasquale's scheme, because after this happens, he's like, you shouldn't have sold that Washington bust because you just broke the
WPA.
Yeah, the Washington. God,
Washington peddled by aliens.
Yes, cool.
Yeah, the WPA is, the Works Progress Administration, which helped the country recover after the Great Depression. But he uses it as a legal thing to say that, you shouldn't have sold that Washington bust, because they're going to take you in front of the judge, and they are going to arrest you, and you're going to go to jail, and you're not going to be a citizen unless you marry my Rosa.
Yes. So he is understandably freaked out. The next scene, I do kind of appreciate this, the very like scene. Like it's a very chunk, episode of television, which is nice.
It's the same way that it was done. I Love Lucy, I feel, was the same way.
Yeah, like we're not cutting back and forth between a lot of stuff. It's very much like, now we're going to move to the night school, where he is taught with a lovable cast of just a whole bunch of people doing accents. And I really liked Schultz, although considering the country of origin and the time and this takes place, really worried about what he was doing 10 years prior.
Well, the actor Sig Rugman was doing MGM pictures with the Marx Brothers. He was in Night at the Opera, Day at the Races, Night in Casablanca. He did the lesser, some of the lesser Marx films, but also Night at the Opera, which is a great film.
He's good. He has some really good jokes that I cannot remember because I did not write them down.
They were just it was jokes. It wasn't reactions as much as kind of like, I'm going to, every time I talk, you know, what I have is a setup and it's going to have a punchline.
Oh, like one of them was like, oh, my friend didn't get citizenship and he learned everything. He learned all the presidents, all the colors of the flag. He studied so hard, still didn't get his citizenship. Why not? Because he didn't learn English. But like,
exactly.
Great.
Everyone there's I know there's Horowitz. We don't know where he's from yet.
I mean, is he just Jewish?
Could be.
Oh, gosh.
There's Olsen, who is from a Scandinavian country, and he talks the accent that they gave him is
hurdy-gurdy. Yeah, it was very...
They play very broad, and it's not good. But there's a feeling of love and support with these four men.
Yeah, I really like... The scene starts with the teacher being like, okay, so like we're not doing anything else this class. We are helping him get citizenship. Like whatever was on the docket is off because we're focusing on our friend. Like that's great. That's really, really sweet. I don't know if it's like, efficient in terms of teaching, but really nice.
But one thing from the previous scene did get brought through, and I appreciated that this was that the first scene wasn't just a setup that didn't go anywhere.
Oh yeah.
The $50 that he got for the Washington bust, well, Schultz has the idea that if you put it in a bank and get a checking account, that's going to make you look better to the citizenship judge.
Responsible, contributing member of society. Just like, oh, go do that.
Business owner, you manage money.
Yeah.
So
then the next scene is the bank. We go to the bank, and that they don't make bank tellers like that guy anymore. Like he looked like Cary Grant behind a bank. Like, well, again, the video quality was horrible. But
looked like George Reeves, I thought, and I had to double check to see if it was George Reeves, and it was not.
Like, God, handsome man in a suit at the bank, just there, like cash my checks.
There was a great interchange between Luigi.
I loved them.
The bank teller. They were where Luigi says, "I'd like to talk to Mr. Case," because it's Case's bank.
Yes.
And the teller goes, "Well, he's dead." And he goes, "Okay, I'll wait." And that's a little thing. And the teller says, "Well, he's not coming in. He's not going to be back." And Luigi says, "Well, how about Mrs. Case?" And the teller says, "Well, she's dead too." And Luigi goes, Who's minded the bank?"
Oh, and then like, God, what does he say? Something like, yeah, I want to open a thing. How much money do you have? $1,000. It's like, what I wish I had. I have 50. And then he deposits it. But then he asks the question of like, so what do you do with the money, bank? And he's like, we invest it. And then Luigi's like, what do you invest it in? And man, and then that chicken or the egg, that he doesn't know.
The banker doesn't know.
Really, and it's actually really funny. So like that is a thing that I do like that they did that. There are times where they get comedy out of flipping the status, because this is Luigi intuitively pointing out a major like just flaw in American systems in a way, and it makes the person who initially thought that they had high status immediately they're low status, and they are just confused, rightfully so. And it's cool that like Luigi not being from here is actually like being like, in that case, is a good thing, because it is allowing him to like see things and call things out. If only it wasn't an Irish person doing I don't know.
So the teller says, "Well, let me talk to the vice president, because I don't know where we invest it." The vice president knows, but he doesn't tell the teller. He says, "Just bring the guy over here. I'll open his account. I'll answer his questions." And he gives a very long explanation about how funds are divested, and I didn't follow it.
Oh,
And
no.
Luigi didn't follow it, so it kind of gets dropped. But he does get a free cigar.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, are you having a baby? It's like, no.
Because that's what I guess what you did at a bank in the 1950s.
Just have cigars just
If you talk to the
around.
vice president, get a free cigar.
Yeah. Now, then they changed it to lollipops and like dog biscuits.
Yeah.
Wait,
I don't
then
even
what is
smoke
the
cigars, but I kind of rather have the cigar. Like, I think that just shows more class.
Yeah. So then then after that is when he goes back home. He goes back to Pasquale's Italian restaurant, right?
Well, let's go back. There's not a lot happened with the bank teller, but there were a couple good gags.
Oh yeah.
Where he says, the vice president says, even if it's $50, we'll open an account for you, because as I always say, a small investor today is a big investor tomorrow. And Luigi says, well, I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
In his best Chico marks. So he does get the bank account opened.
Yeah.
And he gets his first checkbook, which is pretty good.
Remember checkbooks?
I still have one.
I mean, I think I'm stuck with Superman checks somewhere.
I bought
hundreds because you could only order them in like 100 packs or whatever.
I still use them. I just used one yesterday where I was buying a page of comic art from Gotham Central, and the person who was selling it said, we'll do a check or we'll do PayPal, but it costs more if you use PayPal. And I just said, you know what?
I mean, let's just blow the dust off, get out the quill.
But, if in the time it takes to send a check and for them to cash it, I might have like another pay period.
Yeah.
There.
So there you go.
Not coming out of this.
Is this when he goes back to? So like we actually don't we get a scene between Pasquale and like a customer?
Yeah, we moved to. This is the fourth location we've gone to.
Yeah, that's also like they're really running through the locations here.
Yeah, we're at Pasquale's restaurant.
And Luigi comes back and like Pasquale finds out he's got a checkbook. Like because he's got another scam to run.
Yeah.
Jeez.
A chance for more mischief.
And this one is really messed up, I think.
And it's because it's illegal. And Pasquale's look, Pasquale is a piece of shit. He wants Luigi to be his best friend and just, I'm taking care of you. I was the one who brought you over here. I'm your friend. and then he will screw him over at the drop of a hat to marry his daughter off.
Yeah, he's like, oh, so, with that money, you could go on and get ahead on your rent. Why don't you write a check to me, like, right now? And then he, like, starts writing the check, but then he takes it away when he's like, what amount?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll finish this.
He put the amount in. He put his name in. He signed his, the date, because that was the most important thing. But it didn't say who it was to.
Yeah.
And he says, oh, I'll fill that in. And it's that whole like, oh, I'm your friend. My heart is this is awful. My heart is big as a bologna, and you could always have a slice.
Yeah.
Alan Reed, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, and then when Luigi's leaving, doesn't he say something like, "You're full of bologna"?
Yeah, he's like, I love you. You're full of bologna.
And he's like, somehow it sounds better when it comes out of my mouth or something.
So the scam,
oh god,
is that he is going to write the judge's name in the to part of the check,
and he affixes a letter,
writes a full letter.
It's like it starts with he wants to say like, I'm presenting this, or I present this to you or something, and he asks how to spell
Your Honor, Your Majesty.
Yeah. He's like, how do you spell present? And then the smart guy at the table is like reading newspapers, like PREZNT. And he's like, yeah, I didn't go to college, so
yeah, that's lame joke. But
the scam, like he's like, hey, judge, I'm giving you $50. Ask me easy questions. Like, let's do this, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's trying to basically bribing a judge on his behalf.
Yes. Because he knows that if the judge denies him citizenship, his only way out is marrying Rosa.
And he wants her married off because of patriarchy.
Exactly.
Because there's nothing else she can do with her life besides be a wife. Okay, cool.
He wants to get out of the house.
So then we go to the courtroom.
Yeah,
where all the dudes from the night school are like there, like front row, like they're watching Luigi about to do a drag performance at Albatross in a store.
I don't think I have ever seen a more supportive group of friends that maybe Community. But
yeah, I mean, like willing to go to a courtroom in the middle of the day for citizenship
to help them out. They're all there, and they're making little gags. Schultz says, "Hey, you smell great. What's that perfume? A French perfume? Is that evening in a pickle barrel?"
Yeah, I love that. I did like that a lot.
Schultz does kind of like big, goofy gags, and even if they're a little mean-spirited, everyone's just like, "Oh, Schultz, he's funny.
His heart's in the right place."
He was a big character in the radio show, so he's a big character in the TV show.
When the judge comes out and like Luigi comes up and is like Luigi Vasco. When he comes up, the judge is like, "Oh, that's you? You're under arrest." Like it's like immediate. Like he already got it. He knows what's up, and he does not like Luigi bribing him.
Yeah, it was immediately denied. He wasn't arrested, which is
crazy. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It was just
denied.
Didn't ask a question. You're denied. But Luigi gives a very nice speech. He talks about how he always follows the rules. He says when first time he listened to the radio, the guy on the radio said, "Don't touch that dial." And he never did. He never listened to any other radio station. He he goes to the zoo and they have a sign that says, "Don't throw peanuts at the monkeys. Don't feed the monkeys." So what does he do? He throws the whole bag so they can feed themselves.
See, I miss a lot of that because the audio quality is very bad. And then also his accent is very thick. So, but luckily enough, his teacher is there to like help kind of like straighten things out. Like the judge even like goes off with her to like, to get explained. And then he figures it all out when Pasquale comes in. Is like he comes in with the wife, like with the daughter, being like, "Hey,
Pasquale.
Let's make this happen."
Pasquale has given us our first look at Rosa, who this is an unenlightened time. This was, she's a very large person. That equals funny.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. It's not.
But that's where the scene kind of goes.
But then when the judge comes out and he asks Pasquale to spell present.
Because he suspects, because Luigi says, "Oh, that's the check that I gave to Pascal for the rent."
Yes, yeah.
And the judge says, "How do you spell present?" And Pascal says, "Prezent. I went to college."
Yep. Done. And then he's arrested and put on
30 days. 30 days in jail. To which Pasquale then says, "I'm just trying to marry my daughter off, Your Honor. I love him.
Oh God.
But I'm just really trying to marry my daughter off." And the judge says,
Christ.
The judge says, "Is your daughter here?" And she pops up and waves. And the judge says, "Oh, the sentence is suspended."
Like
with a large person.
That is, yeah.
Ooh.
Because I am absolutely sure that all of the men that wrote and directed this episode are just like Charles Atlas's, all just Adonises.
No one wins in this.
Yeah,
there are no winners in here. Everybody just showed their whole ass.
Except for I loved the teacher.
The teacher's great. The teacher
Great.
stays through the whole thing. They liked her so much that she went on to My Friend Irma.
Work, yeah. And so, but the episode ends with him getting like the judge immediately starts asking him questions, to which he's like, I know everything about the flag, red for this, white for this, blue for this, states, etc. Like, great. And then the episode ends with him getting sworn in. I don't know. Him raising oath to America. And I just want to point out, he's saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and he does not say under God.
That wasn't added until later.
Yep. Wow. Kind of wild, right?
I like that we kind of burned through that as fast as we could, because it was a lot of awkwardness.
Well, so what I find more fun, so there is a lot. Okay, so here's like oh my God. Here's a review. I don't know. I can read by Bob Foster of this episode. Stop me when you have something to say. Never having been a fan of Life with Luigi on radio, we were somewhat reluctant about last Monday night's video presentation of this story. On the contrary, we found the T version, that has to be a typo, of Luigi an amusing, well-produced, and highly enjoyable bit of entertainment. We've known for many years that J. Carroll Naish was one of Hollywood's finest and most versatile actors. A native of Ireland, it seems somewhat ironic that he would become one of radio's top Italian. Naish's work on the radio version has been outstanding, although we found it hard to keep an interest. In television, however, Naish must memorize lines and act. Wow. He did both in the best traditions of show business. After seeing Life with Luigi, it is not difficult to figure out why Naish is considered one of Hollywood's top character actors. The supporting cast was outstanding, with Alan Reed playing the role of Pasquale, his overbearing and somewhat unscrupulous friend. His fine work in this role will be a great factor in making this series one of the top in television. Life with Luigi is another example of CBS TV's success at adapting radio formats. Jodie Gilbert, playing the role of buxom Rosa, the daughter of Pasquale, will bring a lot of laughs during the series. A number of very funny situations can be developed around Pasquale's efforts to get Luigi to take her as his helpmate. Naish, who did such an outstanding job in Metal for Benny in the movies, is still able to wring tears, bring laughter and suspense to his audiences almost as quickly as it takes to enumerate these emotions.
Now, I want to comment on that too, because I think that all the accents and stereotypes aside, I was impressed with, he did bring a very honest earnestness to the character, where when things were good, it was obvious that he was happy and the character was having fun. When things were in trouble, you could see the panic, you could feel the panic. He brought
even
that
through the
emotion.
low quality kinescope, like kinescope to VHS to YouTube we were watching. No, he was really, really good. Also good, this reviewer says, was the camera work was flawless throughout the entire 30 minutes, and the producers used no less than 5 individual sets, something of a record. Despite the fact that the portrayal of immigrants is at best a delicate problem, Naish and his supporting stars handled this problem in a sympathetic manner and gave these people who have made our country great plenty of respect. Some of the supporting roles were somewhat stereotyped and were used primarily for the dialect effect. It would appear that CBS has another hit on their hands and looks very much as though this is CBS's year. Little did they know.
So that seems to me that people, even when it came out, realized, look, this is a hot topic. This is we got to be careful about this.
So it is canceled by January. After the Italian Americans are writing in, or in not, just people are writing in, they cancel it. But then by April, this news report comes out. Life with Luigi, with a revamped format and an almost completely new cast, will return to CBS next Thursday night. Missing from the cast are J. Carol Naish, who played the title role before the show went off the air several months ago. Alan Reed, the Pasquale of yore, and Jodie Gilbert, who played Rosa. Good on Jodie Gilbert for, I guess, being a series regular. I thought she was just trotted out as one.
No, she was definitely a series regular.
Okay, good for that. Replacing them, respectively, are Vito Scotti, pronounced Scotty, which I did not. Vito Scotti. Vito Scotti, former stage actor, now doing character parts in the movies, supported by Thomas Gomez and Muriel Landers. Sole survivor from the old group is Mary Shipp, who will continue as Miss Spaulding, Luigi's night school teacher. And that's wild. So, like, what they did say, they recast him with an actual Italian.
Yeah.
Let me see. I have quotes on that, which are very interesting.
I you know what this reminds me of? Do you remember the show Sunnyside with Cal Penn?
Oh, yeah.
Where he's like a councilman, he's trying to help like a bunch of like new to town immigrants. That made me feel like that's what this was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But did not work.
It also did not work.
So there was a profile written about him that's a personable young Vito Scotti, the striking Italian who comes into your living room in Life with Luigi, doesn't regard Luigi as a representative of all Italians. What he says is, I see him strictly as an individual. The show wasn't created, I'm sure, to have Luigi represent the Italian race. I see and try to enact Luigi as an immigrant who could have come from any foreign country, one who, like so many others, is seeking a new and happy life in America. Scotti himself is not foreign-born, but not long after his birth in San Francisco, his mother took him and Jerry, his brother, to Italy, where they lived for a time before returning to America. So Scotti has a first-hand understanding of the foreign mind, which he successfully imparts to Luigi.
It doesn't feel better. It doesn't make me feel better about it.
So well, they also
didn't make audiences feel good about it because it didn't last that long.
But they also they changed the character completely. So because also Vito Scotti was 21, so they cast like a young, maybe hot, I don't know, I didn't look up a picture, 21-year-old to play him. And so the CBS's Harry Ackerman said this: Luigi finally is what he's supposed to be, a sensitive Italian, not a pushcart peddler.
Ooh.
Scotti is confessing that the role came very easily. He revealed, I've lived with a feminine Luigi for a long time, my mother. So like, you know, they tried to do the right thing.
He is very handsome, like conventionally handsome. You might go for him. Audiences didn't. Audiences didn't, because they only lasted another 7 episodes.
Yeah, God. So do you want some more must-have facts? We're just so
pile them on. This is. I'm already uncomfortable.
We already talked about the ratings. 1 in 3 TV sets in America were tuned into this episode. Ended up being number 13 for the season. The CBS Monday night lineup that this was part of was The Perry Como Show, Lux Video Theater, Old Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts, I Love Lucy, and then Life with Luigi.
After dark.
And then the top 5 shows of the season, because I couldn't find weekly ratings, were Texaco Star Theater at number 5, Dragnet at number 4, Arthur Godfrey and His Friends at number 3, and number 2, Arthur Godfrey's Talent Scouts, and number 1 was I Love Lucy. What?
So, by our own rules, we should have done another I Love Lucy episode, but we did not choose this episode because we're like, oh, let's make ourselves uncomfortable and put ourselves in hot water. More like we just did an I Love Lucy episode, literally 5.
It was the last episodes. 50s. Yeah, the last 50s episode we did. So, oh boy. What are you watching tonight, though? On ABC, they're running the movie Detour. The life of Al Roberts, a pianist in a New York nightclub, turns into a nightmare when he decides to hitchhike to Los Angeles to visit his girlfriend. On CBS, we got Life with Luigi. J. Carol Naish stars as an Italian immigrant struggling to understand America. And on NBC, we have Robert Montgomery Presents. The episode title, There Was a Diamond Ring. A man tries to save a crumbling marriage with a diamond ring, but only after it is lost does happiness become associated with the pretty bauble.
Huh. See, what was on NBC?
That NBC is the Diamond Ring. Robert Montgomery Presents. ABC is the movie Detour, and
Because
CBS has
other times, Bob Hope's Pepsodent Hour was running against Life with Luigi. So I'm kind of like, on any other night, it would have been Bob Hope.
nope.
But I'm gonna go with Detour. If those are the choices, Detour.
Okay, so I say, if I am me as I am right now, this immature man child who is not allowed to like reach any type of maturity due to like not forgiving debts and etc. And constant recession and job instability, I'm watching Life with Luigi because I'm a comedy person. But if I am the 39-year-old of Bob Newhart's kind, if I'm a 39-year-old who is a professional, who wears suits, who has an adult life and does adult things and has an adult's bank account, I'm watching Robert Montgomery Presents because I'm a classy man. And there was a diamond ring. My wife has plenty. Whoops. Oh, God.
Because you'd be heavily in the closet in 1952.
Absolutely.
Right.
I would not be detour. Let me tell you about a detour. Detouring down to the village every Friday night from our home up in Ossining. Yeah, no, I mean, so on IMDb, literally no one has rated this nothing. What would you rate this episode of television?
Offensive to all. No winners.
In a.
Sorry, you are not a winner.
God. Oh, I'm just going to say it is wild watching television that aired at the same time of I Love Lucy, because I Love Lucy is so light years beyond anything else that we have watched from the 50s. Honestly, I think we did an Ozzie and Harriet episode, Tutti Frutti Ice Cream, that came close to touching that. But man, it is really wild. Even just like the actual quality of literally everything, from sets to costume to film to it's just nuts. So I give this a 2. No,
I don't know.
I mean, like 4, 5. Like, I mean, I did laugh at Schultz.
It did have 5 sets.
Yeah, some sort
5
of record.
sets.
A record,
honestly. And I don't know if anyone's heart was in the right place for this. There's some times where you kind of like see someone getting into like a bad situation professionally, and you're like, that's because you're under contract and you have to do something shitty. This is just kind of like everybody just along the line just had bad ideas.
Yeah, because I think they thought Italian immigrants are funny, so I'll write this. And it wasn't coming from, I want people to sympathize and feel for Italian immigrants. It was coming from, they're funny. They have a weird. I'm assuming, and I think that's right.
Well, you do have to remember that like there was still a lot of immigration at the country that was happening. There was a lot of, you're talking about second generation immigrants watching TV in 1952 who had come over beginning of the century, and this is probably at least a situation comedy that can be relatable to some people. I mean, you think about how many people had to go through citizenship tests.
It's cool that was
20th century.
I like that was part of a sitcom in 1952. Could have been more authentic. I don't know.
They took it seriously, and not in a way that see, if I was imagining someone taking a citizenship test on TV now, I think it would be very, very different. I think I'm sure it's
that happened on Broad City. I feel like, I know Broad City definitely did an episode, but I can't think of any other ones.
They probably would have handled it differently. They wouldn't have tried to bribe a judge.
No,
I don't know. Comedy's edgy now, bribe judges.
Who had the must-see performance? I'm saying Schultz.
I'm saying Pasquale.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm saying Rosa. I'm gonna say Rosa because
Okay.
she was in. She can do no wrong in my eyes because she was in. I'm tilting the camera up.
Oh yeah.
Johnson's Hell's a Poppin', and I love that film.
Ugh. And must other people see this episode of television?
Oh no,
No.
no, Brett, no,
No.
we shouldn't have watched this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also worried about when we get to the 1980s and what the number one sitcom of that decade is, because it might end up being another we shouldn't have watched this. I'm talking about
Miami Vice.
There's Always Room for Cello. Talking about The Cosby Show, Jello pudding. Oh yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I have vowed to not do that show on unless I find someone who is a super fan who has themselves reckoned with the reckoning. Because like that's an interesting conversation to have.
I mean, that's going to be a discussion for another day. I would be okay going along with that rule if you
I'll do. Yeah. Hey, we ain't beholden to no one yet. Ain't no one giving us money.
Yeah, we already broke with the format of the top rated show of the decade in our first episode of this.
Yeah, who cares?
This little run. So yeah,
who cares? Yeah. So we'll be doing Alf. No, we'll see. I'll be crunching those numbers. Yeah. So where can people find you on the internet if they want to scold you?
Check me out on Instagram, EthanK55. I am on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
EthanK.bluesky.whatever.
They're going to have to stop that. They
have
gotta
to fix that.
That is not tenable. That's ridiculous. And if I swear, if that is some sort of like Mastodon server nonsense, normal people don't want that.
It doesn't.
You just want a site. You go, you say your name is this.
I don't like. I'm posting on it, but I'm also kind of like, yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know if anyone is. No one's following me. No one's giving me a thumbs up. On anything, so it's kind of like, yeah, it's fine.
I'll open it and look, and it's nice to have a scroll that lasts 10 seconds and be like, okay, I've seen that, cool, we're done.
Yeah,
that's nice in a way.
I'm following like 5 people, and you and Seb are 2 of them,
so there we go. And y'all can follow me on Blue Sky at Brett White, and then all that nonsense, and also on Instagram at Brett White, and Twitter at Brett White. And then, yeah, go check out Barb Hardley's performances on all of Barb Hardley's social and the YouTube, etc. Next week, we'll be back with the top-rated Okay, I don't know what it is, and I'm like, what do we think it is? Oh.
Sitcoms of the 60s.
Andy Griffith Show is what I'm going to get.
Andy Griffith Show, Ozzie and Harriet, maybe Phil Silvers. Or the Phil Silvers.
Oh, man, you got to think about, they go color halfway through.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's going to be Andy Griffith, maybe Bewitched in the average, but I don't know.
I'm probably, Family Affair.
Fingers crossed, still waiting for that challenge.
We'll
watch a funny episode of Family Affair if one exists.
Which we don't believe it does. The one we saw was about child death.
A child dying.
We can't let that be our only exposure to Family Affair.
All the child actors on that show had horrible lives.
And it was a Christmas episode.
And Brian Keith was like, I want to be here as little as possible, so please let me film all my scenes for the entire season at once.
I don't know.
So he could peace out. Wild show. Brian Keith's still hot. Yeah, so that is everything. Thanks to Acast for hosting the podcast. Thanks to everyone. Please rate and review in iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, get into it, get committed, because we are. And I mean, that's probably it for Must Have Seen TV this week.
The regrettable episode, Life with Luigi.
Yay! Everyone, yeah. Oh boy.